last week that he knew about this stuff way back when. They say he got the game, full game on this, on the 28th of February. And he gave a talking with this guy Woodard, whatever his name is, on the 7th of March. And then on the 19th of March, right? And he always, so he knew all the time. And then, whatever he's doing, it's insanity in the White House. They don't even keep up with lies no more because he can say, Don can say, I'm a big time white man. Then the people put it on the news. Don said he was a big time white man. I didn't say I was a big time white man. I said I was a big time pale face. That's different. The pale face and the white man is different. He'll say that, go right on about his business, right? The man, look, but this is a good thing, but it's dangerous too. Because see, it's all on us. All these wars in the Middle East, all of what can happen in the United States right now. We have to protect ourselves and our family. Because if they're partially successful, if the United States, that's why I had you pull up that thing on voting.
Yeah.
Remember, I said they want everybody to vote, right? And that's what we said. And then now, 2 days later, they come out with a movie on voting, right? The black man, they keeping black people from voting. So when they do that, we got to run down there and vote, right? Yeah. We got to run down there and vote. Okay. We can't leave this stuff to them because if we leave it to them, we're a sideshow. We got to get in there and say, hold it, we're at the table. That's where we're going. We're going to make that move. If we do it by ourselves, we're not going to put up with them people managing our life. They're not in control of themselves. So they don't have a right to manipulate our life, our children, our family. They ain't got, they're at an empire when it's on the way down. They're just like a Negro or anybody else. He makes half of the mistakes himself, right? Yeah. When you start going down, your wife is with you. You beat her up because she said one word, because you're going down. And you run her off, and that's the only friend you have, right? So you get worse. You lose your house, you lose your car. And pretty soon, you're there by yourself. Okay, if we leave this America to this boss man here, he's gonna bring us all down. Now, all the immigrants and the Americans, the Negroes, I don't want to sound like it's in a way it's sad, but that's the way it is. It's Kingism, Mandelaism. It's a combination of Tuskegee Airmen, the 369, you know, that fought in there, right? That here we are, have enough compassion to try to rescue America from itself. Yeah. That's the way it goes. That's the way the job, that goes with the job, you know, right? So they give the Tuskegee Airmen, they medals 50 years, everybody's dead. Right.
Right, yeah.
Everybody's dead almost. So they go, oh, we better give you a medal before you die. The guy come up in a wheelchair. It's okay. We're not doing it for that. But there's something called history. And history places people and personalities and all the environment those circumstances. Some people are fortunate to get that whole picture and able to stick it together at one time. Okay, I'm not bragging, but I can talk about Japan, China, anywhere you talk about, right? With expertise. I mean, this Sri Lanka or anything, it doesn't make a difference. That's a certain gift. Also the timing. The timing is now that we have to arise from our comfort. See, brothers might have got comfortable playing that part. I'm getting the feeling, I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm getting the feeling, because I gave the signal a while back, you know what I mean, that okay. I mean, the signal, this is a signal, remember? Stalingrad to Oakland. They're supposed to study what happened at Stalingrad, right? And Oakland, it was the change in the whole World War II, right? This is the first big victory, and from then on, it was downhill for the Germans. Okay. So, maybe everybody got comfortable because that's 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. But so now, but this is an emergency. See, anybody can see this is an emergency. What we're living in. This is not normal. Everything is accelerating and moving at a fast pace, and we're not managing anything. Not only black people, but Muslims, we're not managing anything. That means our life is in their hand. They throw up the sail and catch the wind and go where they want to go. We cannot allow either of these Democrats, Republicans, the system, none of the system, to manage our life. And none of them are even talking about anything that's real. None of them, they're not even talking about it. I'll close in a minute. I'll just repeat this for the next 3 or 4 days. I'll go over the same subject till we get it. Don't worry, it'll be sunk in. They don't, look, no. You can't get all of this stuff. This is 40 years and trying to get it out. You know, you just go, no, this is 38 years. This is 38 years, actually 39. Technically it's 40 years. Yeah, that's what it is. But 38 years of planning and having a picture, expectation, what you're going to deal with, right? What we were going to deal with in those days, now we've lived through certain cycles. That was before global warming. Not before, it was started already, but it wasn't like it is now. And nobody talked, they talk every day. Well, did you see the fire? The fire have hurricanes and, fire, wind, the blacksmith thing that puts air on the fire gets hot, the wind blow on the fire gets hot. And imagine hurricanes, fire hurricanes, within a fire. Good God Almighty. That ain't never happened before, and everybody, they ain't saying we gotta stop.
The sky is red on the West Coast. The sky is red. The sky is really red over there.
And the reason that the smoke...
You can see it in Europe. I didn't hear that.
The smoke here.
The smoke here early in the week from over there.
Yeah.
That's why it was cloudy.
That's why it was cloudy. It wasn't cloudy. It was way up in the air. That's why it was hazy 2 days ago.
Okay, I thought that was just...
No, that was from over there.
That was the fire. Yep. 3,000 miles away.
I didn't hear anything about that on NPR.
No, it was all on the news.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, I don't hear no public officials talking about it. That's what I'm saying.
No.
Like, at least on, like,
okay, that's what I'm saying is, but this is all real.
I said it's real.
The stuff in the water, all the stuff is real. It's real.
Yeah, right.
Okay, now, We've already waited on them to do something. We've already been the all boss man. Everybody's voted already. And they trying to get people to vote again. Why you think they just happen to come out with this new program? We just, to go vote. Now, we didn't say that a while ago. Why? Because we've studied the behavior pattern of white folks, so it's easy to forecast. It's easy to predict. It's not possible for no Negro to sit down and say every week, 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And it comes out 1, 2, 3. It's not possible. This is not possible unless there's something special going on. Okay? That special thing is us. It's now we have an opportunity to do this type of thing. And we have no niyyah, no intention but good. There's no other intention. Okay, some of the people believe it, but there's white folks that don't believe niggas can do anything good. You know, about the Civil War, they say how popular President Grant was. He was big on Reconstruction, and Negroes too. You know, for a white man, he didn't do bad. He actually had a slave and freed it when he was poor. He freed the Negro when he was poor. The people at the courthouse were saying, you gonna free the nigga? And that was way before. That was when he was a drunk, you know what I mean?
Was he a general before that?
He was, Grant was a general.
Yeah, he was a general.
Oh yeah, but that was before he was a general. He got out of the Mexican War, and he was farming then and stuff like that. But anyway, General Grant was big all the way up till about 1900. And then you notice in 1915, Birth of a Nation came out. That was the first full-length movie. Birth of a Nation flipped the script where the whole South, we're not bad. It wasn't about slavery, it was about states' rights. And then they showed all these old Negroes gonna rape white women and stuff, right? And pretty soon, they showed Negroes almost barefooted, they was barefooted, and stuff like that. And within a few years, they didn't change the narrative to pretty soon, find me a street named Grant and find me a street named Lee, or a highway called Grant Highway, or go find Lee Highway, right? How is it that Grant won, Lee lost? Why is more stuff called Lee than Grant? And it was like that up until 1900. They shifted the whole thing. Man, they can shift it. That's what they're doing now. They're shifting the people demonstrating because they just don't want to get shot. Right? They're the problem. Right? You listen to it. That's what he said. The niggas is the problem. We got to keep them in line. Right? We got to keep them in line. And nobody is saying they shoot each other. Sure, after you brought all them, then they wasn't shooting each other back in the early 60s. They started shooting each other in the 70s after you brought all that dope over here, right? And run them crazy and turn them into dummies, right? And now they've been killing each other for the last 40, 50 years because you ran them crazy. But the news, the mayors, none of that. They don't say anything about it. They don't say the reason our crime rate is so high in Chicago and we're killing each other is because of drugs. Because what you brought here, we didn't bring it here. One thing you never heard me say, yeah man, when I was in Colombia, I saw a whole lot of niggas down there. When I was in Mexico, even in Mexico, you didn't see no Negroes. Everything here came from them people. Okay, So it's time for us to come out of the closet. I'm gonna repeat this tomorrow and Sunday until I say it the way I want. I'd like to close. By the way, I paid all the taxes the other day. We thank everybody for participating, and I thought about selling that property over there. They $1,200. One time they had it $5,000. I will sue them when we get ready, but we're not going to sell it. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to start raising funds for our next taxes right now. Right. I mean, we always been like that, pre-planning. But we're going to start raising funds, so we're having ahead of time. And we're not going to just stay in here in the house where we're almost broke. We're going to go out to everybody. Yeah. Eventually, we'll talk about all the friends that we have gained and all the people that have drifted away. And we're also going to talk about just this whole historic period of preparation. We don't believe that Allah allowed us to go through all of this to be passengers on the Titanic. We're not going to be passengers on the Titanic. Right. Yeah, no, we're just not going to do that. If our brothers have forgotten what our original mission was, first of all, we won that game. We cooperated with each other. All those years, we done that. That's not possible. They don't believe in it. Niggas can do it. And now all we have to do is if people forget and they get to enjoy their position, that's up to them. We're just going to keep on rolling with what we got. We'll mention it a few more times. If people don't come forward and they can structure whatever they want, we should have structured meetings. The phone should be ringing last year saying we're ready to go and what you think we ought to do, and we all collaborated. Remember, it's not an individual, we're collective, and everybody played a part. Everybody will be recognized if they want it for the part that they play. Of course, for me, I don't need no recognition, about none of this. But in case some others do, it's not about the individual. Thing I told Imam Jamil years ago, I said we need 100 big niggas, not 1 or 2. And that's what we mean about fighting the last war, where you got one general and you do something to the general and you destroy the whole movement. That's bad planning, right? Tell the truth. That's bad planning and that's not learning. Are there any questions?
Let me check YouTube.
I have one question.
Yes.
You mentioned about Suraj Maharaj and Chief.
I didn't say, go ahead.
Okay, stop. I just want to know, I was watching the video, I did not know that after the schism happened in, I think, 77, that Suraj was with the chief.
He left.
And then he left the chief.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
No, he was at the Masjid there. That was a part of Imam Muhammad's community. Suraj, he made a decision that was not a bad decision. 1980, 79, 80, 77. Imam Muhammad was making a lot of decisions that were very close to almost governmental decisions. In fact, those are the years that I left the community. I used to be in the community too. And I left because it seemed that he was moving too slow. I said myself that later on in my progression, I would have stayed in the community, but it was too late because when I saw what he was looking at and understood it from, when I understood it from when I talk about Imam Muhammad now, you can see that it's compassion, friendship, and love, and it was like that before he passed away. We was in Iran together, we'd been around each other a lot, and it's just fine. Okay, but when he was in Oakland, when he left Chicago, he moved to Oakland for a while. And it was some stuff back and forth. But Siraj left for certain reasons. At the time he left, and the job he's done since then, you would think, of course I didn't mention Siraj's name, I said the New York Imam, so I'll go back to that I'm technically not talking about Siraj, but as far as the New York Imam is concerned, he's played a very good part in the last years. He harnessed the energy of the immigrants. He helped them build mosques all over the country. But he's been around so long that he's beginning to feel what we've been telling him all the time. You're valuable as long as you're useful. You got to remember, the immigrant now got tons of kids they sent to school. They sent some to Pakistan. They sent some to this place, some to that place, right? And that's what they like. They like somebody that studied Islam, and they come and they're a preacher with no authority, just to preach. They don't want imams like we have. You come up through the ranks and what have you, and you have authority in the masjid. They don't like that. See, their authority, the board of directors and all of this